Hey everybody, welcome to Rough Stuff, the podcast where my friend Sarah Griffith and I sometimes invite people on and sometimes just, hang out with each other and share some embarrassing stories from childhood, which we all have. I am one of your co-hosts, Bridgett Greenberg, and I played wiffle ball last week and have sustained some injuries. I'm still very, very sore from wiffle ball.
It was a tough game, and I want all of our listeners to know the final score was 15-7. Bridgett and my team won, and we had an incredible comeback. I think in the fourth inning.
Something like that, yeah.
And I am the other co-star. My name is co-star? Co-host.
Let's do it.
Well, that's Freudian. I think that reveals a lot about how I think of myself. But I said co-star. I didn't say the star. But still star was in the word.
Star.
Well, my name is Sarah Griffith, and that's my embarrassing fact. No, but I also did purchase 3 separate items from the official Miller Lite merchandise store online.
Wow.
They're selling a t-shirt where one of the sleeves is missing, and it says it's almost Miller time, and it's a fundraiser for it's a vaccination shirt.
Oh.
So it's missing a sleeve. And you say it's almost Miller time. It's good. It's a fundraiser too.
Sure. Yeah, that is not why you bought the shirt, though.
No. No.
Is it like a t-shirt?
It's fully a t-shirt. It's one sleeve, and then the other sleeve is like gone at the tank, basically.
Right. I gotta see this shirt. I can't wrap my head around this. Or where you would wear it outside.
I mainly bought it as like a souvenir of the pandemic, honestly. This would kind of be funny. And then they sold, we're sponsored by Miller Lite this week, by the way. There's a fanny pack that has a koozie attached to the actual pack itself. So hands-free, you have a place to put your beer.
Great.
And a place to put all of your drugs. In a pouch.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
These are my purchases. And then I also got a tank top. So thank you, Miller Lite.
For half a tank top, a full tank top.
And then
a fanny pack.
Fanny pack koozie combination. It's very cool.
It's as the kids say, a hot girl summer.
It is going to be a hot girl summer. A hot woman summer. This one is for the late 20s.
Yes. This is for those of us who have been more
like the women, okay?
The late 20s crowd who have been like pretty much fine during the pandemic because we don't have kids or
no, don't own a home, not looking to buy a home.
Yeah, don't really have that many responsibilities. It's as okay as you can get during these times.
Just us.
Yeah.
Just us.
Yeah. Just us.
Just
hot
us
women.
And our anxiety and our tums.
We have one of those very exciting episodes where it's just me and my buddy Sarah talking.
Yeah.
We've been vaxxed. We've been very fortunate, so we're in the same room. So this is exciting for us.
I know we don't have to. We can talk over each other without having to be like, "Oh no, sorry, you go ahead."
Yeah, I don't have to be polite to you anymore because I'm looking you in the eyes. So that's enough politeness. But how have you been, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
That's all you're gonna give me?
I don't know. We saw each other. We played wiffle ball last week.
We did play wiffle ball last week.
For the audience? They've listened to us the whole time.
Yeah, but they like us.
Oh, I'm good. Can we
That's
have
our
a Cast
noise.
and Curious mini episode right the fuck now because the F9 trailer came out this week.
Yeah, we'll derail into our other.
No, we're derailing now. My ass is on fire.
Yeah, that trailer started. I'm gonna be honest. Started off a little slow. Started off, they were giving us a lot of catch up. And then once it took off, once it became montage action in magnets, are you kidding me?
It's
fucking magnets.
Literally the Mission Impossible Fallout trailer. I used to think was the greatest trailer I've ever seen.
It was a good trailer.
That trailer is fucking dead to me now. That trailer is dead to me now. F9 is a better trailer than Fate of the Furious is a movie.
I have watched that trailer so many times, and Michelle Rodriguez is line reading on.
So beautiful. I love her haircut.
Amazing. And then she has my favorite part of the trailer is Jacob is Dom's brother.
Stunning.
The line
Stunning.
she was born to say.
Oh my God, Bridgett, we can watch that trailer in theaters.
We can watch the movie.
We can watch the movie.
You're going to go to your first Fast and Furious theater experience. And I'm so excited.
No, I'm so excited. We're going to be there opening nights.
I don't. know if I want to sit next to you during it.
Yes. I hope that theater is loud as a fuck. I want hooting and hollering out of every single person there. I mean, I'm gonna be.
That's been my experience at every Fast and Furious movies, but I've seen most of them in Philadelphia. So, and that's kind of
no, but we'll be with the real fans because we're gonna go opening night.
Opening night.
We
absolutely.
are going to camp. Yeah, outside. We're gonna wait in a line.
In my dream version, because it does come out right around my birthday, so I will have a.
I know, that's so exciting.
I'm gonna have
Fast and Furious themed birthday.
I'm gonna have a Fast and Furious themed birthday
with like the with the
with the tablecloths, the plates, the party hats, all of it, and then the
goodie bags.
In my dream, we go to Fast and Furious.
Yes.
This might be a second viewing thing, so we'll go to our opening night. But then, we got to see it again.
Duh. We'll see it 9 times.
We'll see it with more people. But I think what we do is we catch a matinee, sneak in some beers. Theater owners don't listen to this.
We'll be doing this at the AMC City Walk.
Sneak in some Ronas.
Yeah.
The beers, not the viruses.
Do you think they're going to have to maybe switch to Modelo's?
I hope not. Even though I do, because I don't like Corona that much, but I drink it because of the movies.
For the loyalty.
Yes, for the family. And then right from there, we're going to be hyped up. We're going to be at 11's. We go to a go-kart.
Yes.
We
Good. So we get drunk, and then we go drive.
And then we...
In children's cars.
In children's cars.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I want to jump a go-kart.
You think you're sore from wiffle ball. Let me tell you. You're going to get whiplash.
I want to jump a go-kart over another go-kart.
Can I tell you a real quick story from adolescence? I know we're talking about the Fast and Furious, but can we talk about adolescence? I know, crazy. I know, we're getting our wires crossed here. But one time, my church youth group, every other Sunday, we would go do something. Mm-hmm. And so this time we went to, it's like an iconic Houston location, and I never know the fucking name of it. But basically, it's arcade and go-kart. It's the only place you could do go-karting inside the loop. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you have to go all the way out to the burbs.
Yeah.
And so these 3 guys who were kind of troublemakers, kind of shithead kids, they did the funniest thing on the go-kart track. So it's 3, 2, 1, go. And then all of us took off, and we were all speeding, and the 3 of them lined up together into a perfect line, blocking the entire road, and then slowed down to a crawl and just blocked the traffic of everybody else. It was so fun. All of us were laughing, and then the manager of the go-kart place kicked them off the track, took their names down, and they're banned from that go-kart track.
I mean, that is pretty dangerous, but also very funny. I love when the shitheads get one in. That's
you hate to laugh because you hate to encourage them, but it's kind of
every now and again
there's fucking funny, man.
Yeah. I remember there's this is awful. It's truly awful, and it was a form of bullying, but it was really funny.
If it's funny, it doesn't count.
Exactly. So there was a prank that we pulled. I was part of it, and it's totally a shithead kid thing to do, but there was a kid in the class who was very well, you forgot the homework. You forgot to assign us homework, and everyone settle down. We're trying to learn here.
Jesus!
It was one of those kids, and we orchestrated that. When the clock hit a certain mark, everybody would just scoot their desk. He would always sit in the middle, and we would all get up and just scoot our desk 1 inch away from him at every corner. So he was just an island in the middle. And it happened. It was executed perfectly, in unison. Everyone just scooted over a little bit and left him in the middle. And it was 100% bullying, but it was fucking funny.
That is funny. That's a classic prank.
Yeah, I know.
That's a classic prank.
It was, and when you can get a group of 14-year-olds to be organized, that's why I'm a producer.
Yeah.
It's because I was you know what? I wanted all of us to do the same thing at the same time, and I'm going to make sure this is executed.
These are good skills to harness. I guess per this conversation, I wasn't going to start with the story from our mailbag, but I feel it's appropriate now because we're literally on the topic. So I was a bit of a prankster too. But as I've said on the show before, I was like also mildly a bully.
Right.
And I think this is just like funny kid syndrome, or at least I'm just saying that to make myself feel better.
Right.
Where like I was always about getting a laugh, and sometimes the laugh would come at another person's expense. And that's actually not being funny. That's being like mean.
Yeah.
As it turns out. Actually,
I've done that to you. That was the beginning of our friendship, was me doing that to you.
That's okay. I mean, honestly, I deserve it. Like, if anyone, it's fine when I'm the victim, because it's like, you know what? Honestly, I deserve that one. I really did. So we asked everyone to send in some emails to our inbox, some of your stories. Thank you very much. We're going to read a few of them. We're going to start from my friend Amelia, who Bridgett has met.
I have.
She has really called my ass out. She starts by saying, "Hi, I would like to submit 2 stories of your own, Sarah Catherine Griffith, being a middle school bitch and ruining my 12-year-old self-esteem to your wonderful podcast. Please know, Sarah is one of my close and favorite friends." Okay, you know what, Amelia? You can't say that after you call me a huge fucking bitch. So let's just get to the story. So she calls this story "The Day P. Diddy Died."
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
Is this one of the name switches?
What?
Because he's like changed his name?
Oh, just wait.
Okay.
In middle school, I was all about pop culture and magazines. I really felt I had a discerning eye between the real information from Us Weekly and People versus the trashier fake tabloids. By the way, the current cover of Us Weekly is Sharon Osbourne saying, "My side of the story," just so everyone is aware of what Us Weekly is up to these days.
Yeah.
So this was like 2005, the era before BuzzFeed and iPhones. Also, Sarah was cooler than me. Thanks, Amelia. One day, we were in our 7th grade math class, sitting around our table, very much paying attention to our piece of shit teacher, and he really was a piece of shit. I do not remember what we were talking about before, but somehow got on the subject of celebrities, and Sarah was like, "I heard P. Diddy died." And wink nudged friend nearby who was like, "Oh yeah, I heard that too." And she went on to explain that he had been in a car wreck like the day before. I was like, no, I would have heard, but the rest of the table was either fascinated with the story or agreeing that they heard it too. Somehow by lunch, it seemed that everyone in the school was in on the P. Diddy died camp except me. And that they were all looking at me like I was the idiot for not buying in. However, I firmly felt I would have already read about it and that Sarah was making the whole thing up to fuck with me, which worked. I felt like an asshole for disagreeing, but was very vindicated when I went home to discover that he is and was very much alive. This day both tormented me and made me feel like a badass for sticking to my guns, and for over a decade now, but Sarah does not even remember it. And that's true because she said, "I'm going to write in about the time you convinced me P. Diddy died." And I was like, what? Like fully no memory of that. Just fully gaslighting Amelia for an entire day in middle school. That's
classic. It's also classic that I feel like someone in your high school would have cared that much.
This is middle school.
Middle school.
We had nothing else going for us.
Yeah. Because you've tried to do a similar prank to me and I just straight up didn't care.
That's the key. If you just don't care.
Yeah, this is a very...
Who did I convince you was dead?
Not dead, that you saw Keanu Reeves.
Oh my God.
This is like a whole... I don't really want to get into this whole thing because it's not that big of a deal.
The longest con of my life. I had you convinced for years that we had seen Keanu Reeves in Borrego. What's it?
Borrego Springs.
Borrego Springs.
Yeah.
Tons of Borrego Springs. That's it.
Yeah. And you guys, so we were in Borrego Springs with some friends. This is a bad story. It's not a good story, but basically.
Just real quick, Bridgett and a few other people stayed in the hotel room. Me and some friends ran to the liquor store. And then on the way back, I was like, what if we said that we saw a celebrity out here just to fuck with them? Like, who'd be believable? And our friend Dave out of the gate said Keanu Reeves. And all of us were like, perfect. That's so believable. And so we came in with the story like, yeah, we saw Keanu Reeves at the liquor store.
Yeah, and my reaction was like, oh, cool. And just didn't. And then apparently this was the biggest con in the world to them. And to our other friend who stayed behind. And
well, because But the other victims of the prank would tell people like, yeah, that's where they saw Keanu Reeves. Yes. They were so excited that we saw Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, everybody. And then it was like revealed to me that they didn't. And I like spilled the beans because I did not care. And I broke.
We literally had a group chat that was like people who saw Keanu Reeves. And every time there'd be Keanu Reeves news, to be like, dude, our friend is doing so well. Good for him.
Yeah, and I like spilled the beans and broke people's hearts, and I was like, "Did we all care?"
Yeah, you find no, there was one final holdout actually who doesn't know that we didn't see Reeves. There was one final holdout,
yeah.
But the other final holdout, Bridgett, spoiled it, and our friend Kate was like, "I thought you guys saw Keanu Reeves." This is like fully 3 years later.
Yeah.
God, I'm such a horrible bitch. Like, how do I have any friends at all?
It's really not.
I'm around convincing people fake shit about celebrities.
It's not a big deal.
But it was to Amelia when she was
fair,
young.
Yeah.
But there was another time that I absolutely tormented her. So this is a pool party prank. She says, around that same time, I was really on a tear. Sarah and I went to a mutual good friend's birthday party, which was, of course, because we lived in a city as hot as hell. It was a pool party with about 15 to 20 guests. The party was fun for the first 75% of it. We had all been hanging out, playing some other pool games like chicken, when Sarah challenges me to a competition of who can hold their breath underwater longer. I accept the challenge, and we both duck under the water until I came back up 30-ish seconds later, and not only the pool, but the entire backyard had cleared out and gone inside to sing and have cake. I was mortified. It took everything I had not to burst into tears, get myself out of the pool, and pretend to laugh it off. Fast forward like 2 to 3 years, Sarah and I are actually friends. That's a cold. And so we're friends, and she's at a pool party at my house, and the bitch plays the exact same prank on the guy she had a crush on. I realized maybe that prank wasn't all about me, but actually just our girl Sarah doing anything for the sake of a joke. Alrighty, that's what I got. Feel free to ignore. I love you, SKG. I'm so glad that our high school, college, and real life selves are better than the people we were in middle school.
That's a good prank.
Cheers to that, and I stand by that prank. I'm sorry, Amelia. I stand by that prank. That's fucking funny.
That's really good. That's really good. There's nothing else to
classic.
say.
Well, it's actually inspired by a very iconic prank that my parents pulled on my uncle. This is my dad's brother. They went out to dinner, like 15 people, like a big, huge table. It was like a big celebration. I don't know what they were celebrating, but they had like a ton of friends there, ran up the drink bill, ran up the food bill, like really went all out. And so my uncle was like, let me go to the bathroom real quick. And so when he went up to the bathroom, the waiter came by to drop the check. And so my dad was like, okay, everyone, let's leave. Everyone get out of the restaurant. Everyone go. Like, let's all leave. And so sure enough, like this huge group of people just like completely ghost the restaurant.
Yeah.
They go outside the restaurant. They're looking in the window. And my uncle comes back to this table totally abandoned. And he's stuck footing like a $1,200 bill or something insane like that. And literally, they were watching him in the window as he was talking to the waiter like, wait a second, I shouldn't have to pay for all of these people. Like, do you have a phone? Can I call somebody? Like, this is before cell phones, right? Like, he was freaking out that he was going to have to solely foot this entire bill. Good. And they love to tell that story. And ever since then, I have been abandoning people when they trust me the most.
That's good. Because that has high stakes.
Very high stakes.
The pool one is just awkward because then you're just like, you're stuck. There's no good reaction for Amelia to have.
No.
She's just alone. Because like I'm trying to put myself like, I don't think I would have taken it that hard, but I do like keeping like coming out of the water and being like, you guys come on out. Like, what do you do?
Well, I also didn't realize that all of us had gone inside. Like, that's pretty cold.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cold. That took like the teamwork of everybody.
Yeah, this party had to be like pretty organized.
Again, middle schoolers can be very organized when you need them to be.
Yeah.
Like ants.
Like ants. Yeah, I'm trying, because this is a story of a terrible prank we pulled, but it worked for one person.
Okay.
So it was my last year as a camper at sleepaway camp.
Of course.
And so
how old were you?
14.
Okay. I was afraid you were gonna be like 18.
No, 14. So, you know, we were trying to think of a senior prank to pull.
Classic.
And that year at camp, every meal, there were meatballs. It was a thing that year. They got too many meatballs in their order, and every meal, no matter what it was, came with a side of meatballs.
Classic.
So we were 14 and bad of thinking of pranks. So we're like, know what we're going to do? We're going to sneak in the freezer in the middle of the night and just put meatballs everywhere. Just take the meatballs and just all over
That's
camp.
good. That's very good.
Is it?
No, I mean animals, but that's funny.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the woods in Maine. So there are a lot of animals. And everyone just woke up and they're like, all right, what the fuck? And just like stepped over the meatballs, and like it wasn't a good prank. But then we found out that one girl who it was the perfect, she was just like she was like the summer camp girl that everyone like kind of made fun of and picked on.
Yeah.
And she like in our defense, she was like, that is how she got attention, and she was like in on all the jokes that were pulled on her. Which I don't know if that's just internalized. We don't have to read into it.
Say whatever you need to say to yourself.
Yeah. But we found out that she had slipped on a meatball and fell down the stairs. And we were like pretty disappointed with the prank, but when we found out that Gail fell on a meatball.
You nearly killed someone?
I lit up.
I'm like, sorry, but how do you not see a fucking meatball?
She just like...
How do you step on it accidentally?
You slip on a meatball. Amazing.
Mamma mia. That is a spicy meatball.
So there is like a cartoon, like she stepped on the meatball and like slid down the stairs of the cabin.
That is very funny. So, I know maybe as an adult I should say, oh, you guys are being mean, but no, that's funny.
That's funny. I mean, we didn't.
That's evergreen funny right
there.
Well,
also, we didn't pick her out.
She just fell victim.
Everybody had meatballs. It just happened to be her who fell on it.
Well, we have another entry here from Bob who wants to air out some of his feelings about a bully that I think this is a very validating story. So growing up in the suburbs of Kansas City as a little scared gay boy was surprisingly not always the most lovely of times, but some of the constant anxiety of feeling different and not always knowing what that meant was curbed by a neighbor girl who was obsessed with me. We would spend our days singing karaoke in her basement. Yes, Just Like a Pill by Pink was my first solo. Very fierce. I love that for you. And letting her do my makeup in her bedroom. This is all as I'm about 6 or 7 years old, and looking back, it's truly one of the last times before I came out that I ever allowed myself to do these girly things without feeling immense shame.
Oh.
Enter Kyle, the neighborhood bully. I mean, absolutely feared by the kids and hated by their parents. Him and his siblings were known to spray down mailboxes and drench everyone's packages. Oh my God, what a bastard.
Yeah.
One time he did it when I got like 6 books shipped from the book fair, and I'm still not over it. Yeah, that is...
Oh, Bob.
I would be very upset.
It's funny because I could be on either side of this.
But books, Bridgett.
But books. I love books.
It was all the normal asshole kid shit, not letting me join the kick the can, saying I'm out and tag when I'm not, what the fuck, etc. All in all, a total asshole who also would make fun of my chubby tummy and my femness. So you can imagine my surprise when I got a text from that neighbor girl today, meaning like the year 2021, as we are catching up after not talking for over a decade. And she says, oh, by the way, did you hear that Kyle went on The Biggest Loser this year and came out?
On The Biggest Loser?
Gag is in the email. Gag. No joke. And he attached an article that this is very true. This is what happened. He wraps it up by saying, look, we're all on our own journeys with our body and sexuality and all that bullshit wrapped up in both. But honey, this was a moment. I mean, the boy who helped form my own homophobic DNA, here he is, a little queer himself. Welcome to the club.
Of course.
And The Biggest Loser, truly my favorite show at age 13 that I have come to loathe with such deep intensity for all the shit it shoves down our throats. Exactly.
Yep.
This is turning into rant, but wow, the asshole that I knew at age 6 totally tracks that he is on The Biggest Loser. Fuck that show. Fuck that kid. If his adulthood is anything like mine, then he's nothing like the kid he was, but still, fuck that kid. And Bob, you're right. Fuck that kid. Fuck that kid now and always.
But yeah, what a classic story that like this kid who's just like picking on everyone
for
their body and their sexuality.
He's projecting his insecurities on other people.
And The Biggest Loser too. To go on that, I feel like there's I don't know how I feel about that show because I also watched it a lot.
Toxic health culture.
It is for sure. It's still on, or did he go on it years ago?
No, I think it's still on.
That's incredible to go on it now.
Yeah,
that's a lot. No way. That kid has a lot of internalized baggage, and fuck him for taking it out on you, Bob.
Exactly, and that's what I like about our inbox. If you want to air out feelings about a bully, like Amelia got to air her feelings about me.
If we bullied you,
yeah, call us out.
Please let us know.
This is a moment of account. Amelia, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. And by the way, shout out to Amelia. She's a teacher and she's been teaching in this pandemic. She's a real hero.
Yeah.
And also a very easy target if you ever want to pull a prank on her. She's like so gullible.
So I got one.
Okay.
Not of me, but a story that has come to me.
Okay. In a vision?
In a vision.
In a dream.
No, it was told to me, and I do want to share it. Speaking of easy targets.
Yes.
This story comes to you guys from my lovely boyfriend who
God, I thought you were gonna throw up trying to say that sentence. I was genuinely like, is she gonna say friend or is she gonna say boyfriend? I can't wait to hear.
Because it just I just got permission to tell it, so I haven't like wrapped my head around how I was gonna say it and if I was gonna keep it anonymous, but I can't for the point of the story. He, as the last name of Gaylord, which, as you can imagine, gave a lot of headaches as a child and probably still
pretty easy one to make fun of.
It's a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
But I guess when he was in middle school, he was new to his middle school. He was the only person in that middle school to ride a bike to school. So
health nut.
Yeah.
Gotta get that cardio in.
Gotta get the cardio in. So I guess it was a slow news day in his middle school. And the newspaper, a kid from the school newspaper, decided to interview him for an article about riding your bike to school. Classic middle school story fodder. And
that's like page 3 of the middle school paper.
Yes, yeah, not.
It's after the fold.
But oh no, because this headline front page. Because the paper comes out, he's excited to see. He was interviewed. He's starring in this piece for the middle school paper. He's a new student, and paper drops on hot off the presses on the doorstep that day, and the headline reads, "Gaylord rides black giant to school." And according to...
It's literally the funniest headline. The Onion has not made me laugh as hard as this legitimate middle school paper headline.
I could not believe the story when I heard it. It was the funniest thing I had ever heard in my life. Poor kid is just devastated by this headline. And he's reading the article, and it kept saying, it referenced him as Gaylord parentheses 10. And he is reading it, and he's like, they don't even know how old I am. They keep thinking I'm 10. I'm not 10. I'm not a sophomore. I'm not in the 10th grade. These kids are idiots. Yeah. And his parents had to explain to him that, no, that was the year he was going to graduate.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and apparently...
I love that that's what he's hung up on, and not like the headline itself.
Mean, the headline is,
pretty spicy. Could they not have said just, you know what, even Gaylord rides bike to school sounds mean. Even though that's his name. But, like as a sentence, it doesn't really...
you grow up with that name. Like,
makes sense.
You grow up with that last name, you hear every insult in the book.
I guess you do,
by a certain age.
It's quite literally the fake name in Meet the Parents.
Yeah. By the time you reach middle school, you've heard every joke.
True.
For the most part. But then, apparently this kid didn't even know what he was writing. But
what was the brand of bike? Black Demon?
Giant. The fact that no supervisor stopped that headline just feels a little cruel. And he was like, by that point I thought I was over. Any name you could call me, it was done. I heard it all and it didn't affect me anymore. And then that came out, and that's just a big blow.
You can't follow that one. Well, I think I can follow this one from Sydney, who wrote in. She prefaced this by saying, "This one still gives me night sweats," which
that's what we love.
I did have a lot of messages start with like, "God, I've never told anybody this."
That's what we love. That's what we want to hear on this podcast.
That is how we are mining and exploiting our fans who we love so much.
We appreciate all of you, but it feels good to get this stuff out
there.
It
does. It truly does. So Sydney says, I was a theater kid in high school. No surprise there. My senior year, the school decided to put on an anti-drunk driving presentation. They got a crash car and everything and put it on the football field. The entire school, about 2,500 kids, and staff had to attend. Me and this group of other theater kids were told to improvise, being freaked out that our friend drove drunk and crashed and was being taken away in an ambulance. Yeah. Our lucky friend got to play. You know what's funny? Just quick aside, my school never did anything like this.
Oh, we had so many of these. Like every year, there was like a this is so bad. This is not a good way to teach anyone that drinking is bad, but there was like a drunk bus that came around. They always showed like
you get on the bus and drink a lot?
Yeah. It was a party
we did
bus.
That in Vegas. That was a lot of fun.
No, you put on like beer goggles.
Oh, I've heard of these.
Yeah, and they like obfuscate your vision to make it feel like you're drunk, but it's just like a fun house mirror.
I feel like a performing and fine arts school must have been like, I mean, we can't tell these kids not to drink. I mean, come on. They're literally doing edibles in school. Like, what are we going to do?
And everyone was just like, yeah, it was really cool to walk through the bus with the beer goggles on.
Oh my God.
It didn't help.
Yeah, no, they were like, these kids, they need to, honestly, if anything. So our lucky friend got to play that part of the kid who had crashed and got cool special effects makeups to look all bruised and bloody and got pulled out the stretcher and everything. Meanwhile, the grieving friends, we were all mic'd up so the audience could hear us in our award-winning acting, which she says, absolutely lame high school improv skills. True. What I didn't realize is that they only turned on my microphone, no one else's.
On purpose?
I don't know. In the moment, I thought the entire group of us were being heard on the football field loudspeakers. So I was really giving my best performance, totally in the moment, absolutely selling the shit out of the scene, fake crying, freaking out about how our friend lost her arm, wailing that she wouldn't have driven drunk because this isn't worth it, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Class resumes. And I find out only my mic was on. So the thousands of mean Chicago North Shore high school students had a front row seat to only my voice for 90 minutes.
North Shore High School is the high school for mean girls.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. This is really painting an image here.
Yeah.
So and had such a gleeful time making fun of me for it. Everywhere I went the rest of the week, I couldn't escape someone shouting, "But where's her arm?" At me in the hallways or every single class is absolutely mortifying.
But where's her arm?
If I had gone to my 10-year reunion, I bet people would have shouted that at me. I legitimately have a fear of microphones because of it, but I love karaoke, so that's a fun thing for my anxiety to wrestle with.
But where's her arm?
The first time I read this and she said only her microphone was on, I fully gasped.
Yeah.
Because I knew.
That's so bad.
That's awful.
That's awful. And also the improv line, but where's her arm?
I'm just picturing, because like I know a lot of people in Chicago and like that kind of Chicagoland area and like the Midwest, and I'm legit picturing people like, oh my gosh, she got drunk and crashed her car. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is such a disaster.
You went Irish for a little bit.
They're Irish. That's the thing. That accent is like Irish Catholic. It's like Irish Catholic and then kind of Canadian, because they'll say like,
right.
They won't say like a boot, but it sounds pseudo-Canadian because they are close to Canada.
Oh.
Listen, I went to school at St. Louis University. I've heard of a lot of Midwest accents in my lifetime. Let me tell you something about the Midwest, okay?
That is, but where's
Don't put ketchup on your hot dog, or I swear to God, I'll beat your ass. They would never say beat your ass. That's from Texas.
That's straight Texas. But where's her arm is so fun. Oh,
where's her arm? That is so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, I would have joined it. That's really funny.
So mean. They mic'd everybody, but only like, oh my God, who was in the audio booth? Like, Jesus.
I
terrible.
don't understand if that was a mistake or on purpose, but that is so funny.
Can I tell a quick story? An embarrassing thing that actually happened to my sister. So she's 2 years younger than me, and so sometimes like in middle school we overlapped. I was in 8th grade, she was in 6th grade. She was on the dance team. I did not do dance at all in middle school. Like, I can't say that enough. I was never, ever anywhere near the dance team. And so there was the homecoming football game. Everybody was there, obviously. Mm-hmm. And the dancers, including my sister, went out into the field for like a halftime thing, whatever. And then they got on the microphone. And I think it was actually one of my friends who said this, because it must have been an 8th grade student announcing. Like, we were the upperclassmen of middle school. Right. So we had those privileges. And she was announcing like, you know, special awards, like the 8th grade dancer of the year is blah, blah, blah. The 7th grade dancer of the year is yada, yada. And it was like, and for the 6th grade dancer of the year, we are giving that award to Sarah Griffith. They said my name instead of my sister's name.
Oh.
So she was ruined on the field. But of course, I in the stands immediately stood up and was like, yes, I did it, everybody.
Amazing.
I think the entire school was laughing and clapping about it. Like they were like, all right. And my sister has never forgotten it. I think it actually was a traumatic day for her.
I can imagine either like my brother and I in either of those roles. And just one of us soaking it in, and
her name doesn't even sound like Sarah. I think just like whoever read it just saw Griffith and was like, "Oh, Sarah Griffith."
That's perfect.
Yeah,
good for you.
It absolutely ruined her goddamn day and year, but to everyone else, it was a huge laugh.
Yeah. I wonder, I'm like I know you didn't have them, but I'm just thinking about those like drunk driving demonstrations that go on in middle schools and high schools across America. Would it be
weird if I like popped into a high school and was like, hey, I never got to do this?
I
look like a high schooler. I'm not going to be weird.
Look, I don't know if it's bad or not. Yeah. I need to learn.
No one ever taught me. So I'm hammered behind the wheel all the time.
All the time. I don't know.
I don't know. No one got to me.
Someone just told me it was bad. Yeah, I remember one of the things they would do in my high school was they would choose certain kids who were like, I think like statistically the amount of people who die by drunk driving, they like narrowed that down to our school.
Oh my God.
And they would like tag people like, you're a ghost today, you're a ghost today. And they would have to wear all black and they would get their face painted and they couldn't like say anything in class or they wouldn't go to class. They were ghosted out for the day and you like wouldn't see your friends. And it was awful, but it was random and everyone wanted to be a ghost.
Oh, of course. I mean, duh.
It was like,
that is a fucking deep. They were serious about not drinking and driving.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they didn't want us to do it.
They were mad to.
They were mad to.
Holy fuck. I mean, listen.
They were mad to.
You can't say it enough. Don't drink and drive, of course.
And sad to.
Yeah.
We were sad.
Well, not in Florida. You had sun all year round.
No, students against drunk driving.
Oh, see, I didn't even have that at my school.
They were just all for it.
Again, an art school, they must have been like, okay, let's just be real with one another here. They're artists. You really think they're not going to drink?
Yeah. But yeah, all it taught us is like, why don't I ever get picked to be a ghost?
No, we would have honestly, we would have like what we called spotlight performances where like the dance department, like they would do like 30 minutes of their concert or, you know, you would see the first act of the All School Musical. And then sometimes we had guest artists come in and we saw like a great one-man show. Matthew Shepard's mom came and spoke to our school, which that was actually really exciting. And that was a very genuinely cool experience. I'm not gonna make fun of it. But yeah, our like in the middle of like our assemblies were like, watch this jazz trio for 30 minutes and do edibles and just relax, kids.
The only time I was in a play that got produced and not cut.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was in middle school and it was one of those like don't do drugs kids plays with horrifying stories that stick in your head for years and I still remember all of them.
That is so funny.
Truly chilling. And I was I played they didn't give me an actual role. They gave me the like host announcer who like.
Oh, you're the MC of the drunk driving event.
I was the MC. It was
of the drunk driving variety hour.
Exactly. And which was terrible timing because Anchorman had just come out.
Brother, yes.
Had just come out. So and I'm blanking on the line now, but I'm sure if I think about it, I'll have it like by the end of this episode. But so the play started and it was like Anchorman just comes out. All anyone is saying is Anchorman.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the only language anyone speaks anymore.
It is so deeply a part of my vernacular to this day that I don't even realize that I'm doing it when I'm quoting Anchorman.
Right. And so I quoted it and I think I said, I said one of the San Diego lines and we had one of my friends who was also in the play stand up in the audience and goes, damn it. Who put a question mark at the end of the teleprompter?
Nice.
Yeah, I ended the monologue with the teleprompter.
Nice.
With the question. And my friend stood up and did that line and the play got pulled immediately. They stopped.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking like it's funny that all of these like anti-drunk driving things were like the student drama club would do it, but of course, like our theater department is like, fuck no, fuck no, we're not going to have our kids. Like, no way we would have taken that seriously. No one pulled out a red
ribbon out of their pocket to symbolize that they were dead.
Oh my God, wearing all black.
Yeah. That was the peak of my acting career.
Well,
speaking of yours, I know you're sitting next to your diary.
I do have my diary. I was thinking about, okay, so I have some entries here just to like paint a portrait of, I guess my bitchy middle school self. I just found this selection that sounds so comically like a 13-year-old girl that I kind of wanted to share it because it's like, it could not be more stereotypical. And actually, and I'll get into this later, but I've had like genuine reason to get nostalgic about middle school this week. Okay. And I know like Gen Z is like getting into like early aughts fashion and culture, which is and trending. And I was
insane.
I was looking back on the photos from middle school and I was like,
there's nothing here. There's nothing here.
Well, I was thinking, Gen Z, you'll never be this. You'll never know how fun this era really was. Like, you're so poisoned by like social media, which I'm sorry, like truly, it's not your fault, of course. You know, we're all victims of circumstance, but like you'll never know. You will never know. The flip phones, the Nokia brick phones.
Yeah.
Like looking through the photos, I was like, wow, this is literally what people are saying is trendy now. And these are photos from like over a decade ago, like going on 15 years ago.
Yeah. But I don't understand what fashion you'd want to replicate from that era.
Honestly, I don't think they understand that the big reason why we moved away from that fashion was because, one, it hurt, and two, you had to be 100 pounds to wear it.
And look,
it hurt.
I was a nothing of a child, and my body was still awkward. It didn't look good.
Yeah, like
it's just like.
But here's the thing: they have the advantage of knowledge. Like they know. So they know, going back,
like I would,
because I'm sure as much as I'm into 70s fashion. Like my mom, who was like the age appropriate time, must be like, why the fuck are you putting curlers in your hair?
That's true.
When we have actual heating, like, you know, so
that's true.
It's all relative. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. If you're a young person listening to this, you'll never have what we have. I'm sorry. And
you don't really want it. I'm going to be honest.
You can wear your Juicy Couture tracksuit all you want, but you'll never have a fake Dooney and Burke bag from, you know, your neighborhood Chinatown or outlet mall. So
yeah, you'll never beg your parents for Abercrombie and Fitch clothes.
You'll never have a Coach wristlet. Did you have one?
No.
Oh.
I didn't wear jewelry.
I had a Coach wristlet.
I think I
put my pencils in there and my lip balm.
Oh, now I know what you're talking
about.
Little
ones.
Okay, I thought I heard wristlet and I thought bracelet.
No, that's something different. I'll explain later.
I did have I did have a fake one, and then it attached to when I started driving. It was on my keys, and that's where I kept like.
Oh, that's cunty. Can I say? Very cunty of you.
Okay, that's just what everyone did.
Yeah, but that's the look.
But that's like where I kept my money because I also like
all $26.
All the $20 that I needed to get like
and like your lunch card or student ID or like whatever.
Exactly, like my driver's license and the $20 bill that I found on the floor or something
that your parents gave you one time once and you've held on to for like 3 weeks.
Exactly. That's where I kept it because I also never, and still to this day, rarely carry a purse. So
true.
So that's where my things were.
Yes. So yeah, this is a very, very earnest and very like comical portrait of this time. This is an entry from Tuesday. It was a purple day at school. We had alternating red and purple days because we were the purple pups.
Wait. Like you had to wear red and purple?
No. We just named them.
Oh, so is that like your schedule?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So we did like 4 classes one day, a different 4
okay,
that kind of thing. So it was a red day, a purple day, a red day, a purple day. So this is from December 14th, 2004. It starts with this. Okay, period. So today we went to book stop in P2, El Diablo class. Whoever I had for period 2, I just did not like
it. Fuck them.
I got, and these are book titles, so they're underlined. Knocked Out by My Nunga Nungas. Do you remember Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging? This was a sequel.
Oh, did you ever watch that movie?
And fuck no.
Oh, you gotta watch the movie.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. So I got those books, and an iced caramel frappuccino.
Oh god.
And vanilla mints. By the way, this must have been like the first day the iced caramel frappuccino was sold.
Yeah,
so long ago.
It must have been. That sounds so gross.
Also, in P4, by the way, where did I get a Starbucks drink in the middle of my middle school day?
Yeah. You were that bitch that day.
Maybe we had a field trip to the bookstore.
That's what it sounds like. Is Bookstop a bookstore?
It is.
Okay.
It's a unfortunately departed store in Houston. But yeah, we must have. And so of course we all got back to middle. And also I went to a public middle school, but we wore uniforms.
Yeah. My public middle school also.
Okay, I think that's pretty common.
We had uniforms,
So also in P4, study lab, there was a sub and her phone rang. She talked the entire time. That's the end of the entry. Wednesday.
I mean, fuck her, though. This just had her job.
I mean, listen, this is me as a substitute, honestly.
Yeah.
Wednesday, March 16th. Okay. So there's this huge mofo of a battle between Rachel.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm going to name their first and last names. I'm sorry. Because you have to hear these names. There's a huge mofo of a battle between Rachel Summers and Lauren Hunt. Like, what perfect names.
Great names. They sound popular.
They were. Okay, so apparently, parentheses, I don't know the details, Lauren said something behind Rachel's back. Then Rachel made up a nasty rumor about Lauren, and yesterday Lauren was crying.
Oh my God.
Mr. B made them sit together, but no talk between the two. Oh, and I finally discovered the gorgeous twins in 7th grade named Charlie and David.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 6th.
Okay.
David's an asshole, but Charlie is sweet and hot. Rawr, I wrote.
Wow. What a 12 or 13-year-old girl.
Here's the thing, because I was reading that Angus, because that book is written like a diary, if you recall.
Yeah.
And so I think I was trying to emulate that in my own writing. I had not found my author's voice at this time.
Right. You're just spilling the tea here.
Exactly.
Also,
and this is very cold tea.
Also, Mr. B,
Mr. Bordelon,
does not understand how social dynamics work. And I do feel bad for like male.
He was a middle-aged man trying to squash beef between 6th grade girls. I mean, there was no right answer.
I feel like men should not go anywhere near middle school girls drama.
Yeah.
Maybe in general, but
true.
Yeah, especially drama, because like there's just, you can't take that heat. You're a grown man. You can't take that heat. You got to step away. Making them sit together in silence is just, you're just letting tension boil. Yeah. You're just letting a tea kettle just sit over an open flame.
Yeah, I think maybe he was thinking like, if I could like get them to sit together, maybe they'll start talking and like maybe it's not that big of a deal.
But didn't you say you told them not to talk, or they just chose not to
talk? No, so Lauren started crying and Mr. B made them sit together, but no talk between the two. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. The ancient text I'm reading does not expand. We as historians have to put that together.
The Rosetta Stone hasn't translated.
We are technically in the Old Testament of
your
There's a final sentence here though. Cole parentheses hate him is starting to be nice.
Ooh,
is he plotting something?
Plotting something.
And then I finished by saying, oh well, he's got 2 friends and I have 2 million friends. Suck it. I do not know what my beef was with Cole. I literally have no idea.
He has 2 friends. I have 2 million. And I like that the drama, the heightened drama. He's plotting something. Well, no, he's plotting something.
He's plotting something. And can I be honest though? Like, I still talk that way.
Yeah,
this is exactly who I am as a person.
You've never mellowed out.
Like, oh well, he's got 2 friends and I have 2 million. So
speaking of just like heightening drama, this is something that like popped in. This just popped into my head. I've been thinking about it a lot this week for some reason.
We have said the show is like repressed therapy, like let's bring these back to the surface.
It is. I've been thinking about this a lot the past couple of weeks. I didn't think I was going to say it on the show, but I remember when I was in elementary school, so this must have been like 4th or 5th grade, there was a PE teacher. This is Perez. And she was like the mean PE teacher.
If you can remember her name, pretty bad.
She was mean, like no one liked her. She like clearly hated children, is what I remember. Because she was just like by the time we got there, she was fed up with us.
Yeah, now that I have adult logic looking back, some people really shouldn't be full-time around
it was
kids.
Clear
if you like can't emotionally and mentally handle it.
Yeah, like
I can't. That's why I don't. You know?
mean, being a teacher is a hard job.
For sure.
And I'm sure you get fed up, but it always seemed like every time we walked in there, no matter what time, like she already had it with us. But I remember in my like dramatic, whatever, how like 10, 11-year-old, 9-year-old brain, she had it out for me.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I complained about it. I like told my parents, and I'd always complain about it. And they were like, all right, well, if it's that bad, let's have a meeting with her and the principal and you and us. And I remember getting there and being like, yeah, you're really like, you like telling me, I was like, yeah, you solo me out. You make me run when like everybody's talking. And then it's always me who has to do it. And I'm I'm sure I was being a shit. But then I remember, I will never forget her being like, do you think I like go home and think about you and think about how I hate you or something? Like, I don't care. And I remember that was the thing. And I was like, in my head, it was like, because now I'm saying it out loud and I'm like, oh, maybe she is a bitch. Because I was thinking,
my jaw is on the floor. I cannot believe she would say even anything close to that.
Everybody was right. She's like, no, I don't hate you. Like, just like, I don't think about you. It was very much Don. There's a Mad Men quote of like, someone go like Pete Campbell.
Oh yeah, I don't even think about you.
Yeah, saying like, you know, like hates Don, and it's like, funny, I don't think about you.
Yeah,
and it was very much that she did to me, and she was probably right. She's like, absolutely.
Yeah, there's
right.
a nicer way to say that to a child.
But there was a nicer way to say that to a child. But in my head, and to this day, I feel very stupid for like bringing her into this meeting.
Well, yeah, because she said it in such a bitchy way.
Yeah, but she was also right. Like I like caused this whole drama because I'm like, this teacher's being mean, and she's like, no, I'm mean to everybody. I just don't care about you.
Well, I guess good for her for being very honest and sticking to her truth.
Yeah, but
I do want to get to this story before we wrap up because this is truly. I don't want to get too dramatic, but I think this is one of the worst stories I know I've personally ever heard, and this might be in the top 10.
Is this a mailbag?
This is from the mailbag.
All right.
I will say the person who sent this to me, Emily, she prefaced this by saying, this story is so humiliating and haunts me so deeply that I have only ever told it to my immediate family members and my husband. But it's been 17 years and maybe it's finally time for me to share my shame for the greater good. So readers, listeners, friends, foes, let's give Emily give Emily some space.
All right,
for this story. So I grew up doing competitive dance, tap, jazz, ballet, lyrical, musical theater, modern, you get it.
All of it.
And when I was 13, my dance studio competed in, quote, nationals. Note, you don't have to do anything but pay money to qualify for these nationals at New York City Dance Alliance, NYCDA. Big Apple, baby. Being a small-time group from Kentucky, NYCDA was a big deal for us. I believe we only ever went to this particular competition twice, which to this day are the only 2 times I've ever been to New York. So the competition itself doesn't matter. The only things I really remember are, 1, we stayed at the Waldorf Astoria. Which, yeah, and she says, which was BFD because my parents were cheap. I was like,
yeah.
But they fucking splurged on this one, baby.
Yeah.
And then 2, and I literally, 2, we bought some sketchy fake Kate Spade backpacks on Canal Street.
You have to.
And I literally, the first time I went to New York, I bought a fake Kate Spade bag on Canal Street. Emily, my number one bitch. Exactly. If you are not a preteen rocking a fake designer bag.
Yeah.
You're not it. This is what we need to like have a podcast of like Gen Z. If you really wanted the early aughts fashion,
everything fake.
We'll tell you. We'll fucking tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so cut to the flight home. We've just had a great NYC trip. I'm sure we did mediocre at best of the competition, but I'm riding high. On the flight is me, my mom, and my little sister. As we've all buckled in and prepared for takeoff, my stomach rumbles and I realize I need to go.
Oh.
And I need to go number 2.
Oh.
And I needed to go yesterday. But the fasten seatbelt light had come on, and being the goody two-shoes I am, I didn't want to get up and go to the restroom.
No, you can make the plane crash.
By the way, I just want to say, she says this later, but she's 13 years old in the story.
Oh.
So I ding the bell and call the flight attendant over and ask if I can go. And she says, no, we're about to take off. And I say, it's an emergency. And she says, it doesn't matter. We can't have movement in the cabin during takeoff. So I'm like, okay, I can hold it until we're in the air. Well, no one's surprised. I could not hold it. As we are taking off, I shit my pants. And I shit them bad. This was not a solid poop, my friend. But rather, diarrhea. Bridgett is fully collapsed.
On a plane.
And it's coming hot.
Oh, no.
And it's coming fast.
Oh, God. Body horror.
And I can't do a damn thing about it.
No.
So there I am, sitting in my own wet shit, just letting it flow.
Oh.
And it was so bad that some of it literally trickled out the back of my airplane seat, down the back of the seat. I will say, in baby terms, we call that a blowout. To this day, I do not know if any of it got on the person behind me. I was too mortified to look or ask. But dear Lord, I am sorry to that person. I can still smell it today. If that person did not have touched my shit, they certainly smelled it. The whole goddamn plane smelled it. And this was the beginning of the flight. So the smell is so bad that the flight attendant comes over and my mom starts screaming at her, which is right. Yeah. That why didn't she let me go to the bathroom when I said it was an emergency and blah, blah, blah. I have honestly blocked most of this part out because I was 13 and mortified. But basically there was nothing we could do except use paper towels and other items of clothing we had with us to try to sop this shit up from around me.
And that's like a 3-hour flight?
Kentucky, New York. I think it's like 2, but oof. It's longer than 5 fucking minutes, which is it's longer than 0 seconds, which is what it should have been.
It's too long to be sitting in your own poo.
But we, and by we I mean everyone on the plane, just had to sit with it for the rest of the flight. We were flying to Cincinnati. Okay, so it wasn't a long flight, but it was also super short, like 2+ hours. God bless everyone on the plane for not saying anything to me. So we finally land, and I'm basically a puddle of shit and emotions at this point. Which seriously, this is where the story turned from funny to God, I truly feel sorry for you.
That's title of an album. Puddle of shit and emotions.
Seriously, my mom makes a decision for us to wait until everyone else is deplaned. So yes, everyone behind me had to walk past and put a face to the shit smell. I was in the aisle seat, so there was no way to avoid it. And finally, everyone is off. I go to the bathroom and tie my mom's extra zip hoodie she had around my waist. But then I just have to waddle off the plane in shit-stained pants because we did not have extra pants handy through the airport, waiting at baggage claim and to the car. I believe I sat in the car with no pants, clean underwear from the suitcase for an hour and a half ride home. Oh, so that's that. My crowning humiliation. She just wants you to know she does not have IBS and no one else got sick. But I have never shit my pants at another time in my life. It was truly disgusting, and to this day, I still can't talk about it. But here I am sharing with this podcast. Do with my diarrhea what you will. Emily?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. One of my earliest memories, if it makes you feel any better, is I was very young at this point, but I threw up like right in the beginning of a flight all over myself.
And, that's a classic.
And one of my earliest memories is having to stop. There was like a Disney store or something in the airport, and my mom having to stop. And I got Winnie the Pooh overalls, and I had to walk through the airport like little Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn, just no shirt.
I'm picturing like a yellow, it was a bright yellow.
Well, no, it wasn't like Winnie. It had like Winnie the Pooh embroidered on the front of it.
Wait, how old were you? Because I may have had these overalls.
I was young. I was
like under 8.
Yeah,
so, I swear to God, I had these overalls.
Yeah, maybe because I was like a little Tom Sawyer, no shirt, no shoes or socks, just walking through the airport.
Like, that's Florida, baby.
Yeah,
you get in the swamp, get some gators.
Yeah, no, it was not. Yeah, I was
gonna get a shrimp.
I was in the Fort Lauderdale airport, so I was like right at home.
So you were fitting in.
I was fitting in. Yeah, but having to sit in that in a flight. Girl. There's nothing you can do about
13
that.
13 is such a raw age already.
And yeah, you're taking that hard.
And I don't need to say this. It's too old, right, to be like having accidents in public.
Right.
But it's also
But that's why they're accidents. It just strikes
But you're not old enough to have dignity about it, which not that anyone could have dignity about it.
No, you shit your pants.
But like if an older person did it, maybe you could say, oh, they might be sick.
Right.
You know what I mean? It may be like, oh,
it's still embarrassing. Like,
it's still embarrassing, don't get me wrong.
But yeah.
It's kind of like the older you get, like I very rarely have a slip and fall, but sometimes when I do, I'm now at the age where it's not funny. It's like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Which is like at least a little bit dignified versus the just outright laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's are you okay? And then it's a laugh once you're okay. But you know what I mean? Like,
you check.
With age, there comes a little bit of dignity and a little bit of respect.
It was like,
13 is like the lowest point of your life.
I fell in wiffle ball and everyone just immediately laughed. No one checked if I was okay.
What about when you broke your elbow? Was everyone like, look at this fucking asshole?
Okay, no, they did check on me.
Well, I mean, you did break an elbow.
They should have. Also, when I rolled over and revealed my elbow and it was a U. It was pretty clear that I was probably not okay, despite me saying, don't worry, I'm okay.
Wow.
Despite me cranking my elbow to pop it back. And then my vision immediately, then I started flop sweating and my vision went blurry, and I
Your
heard
first mistake was looking
ear.
at the injury. You should have never acknowledged
I didn't want to. I was laying on my elbow for the longest time, and everyone's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "You know what?" I was still in shock, so I was yeah, I'm fine. And they're like, "All right." And then I rolled over and revealed my arm and looked at it. And everyone's like, like there was an audible gasp throughout the climbing gym. Yeah. And I was like, no, I still didn't want to draw attention to myself. So I was like, it's fine. So
at least you didn't squirt your pants on a flight.
Yeah, I didn't squirt my pants on
Emily,
a flight.
thank you for that story.
Yeah.
I hope you have the confidence and knowledge that we have heard worse actually on this show.
Yeah, people poop their pants.
But I do say I think that's a top 10. I think that might be a top 10 for me.
If you're a listener to Rough Stuff, you know people poop their pants.
They certainly do. Well, I kind of want to close the show.
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier, I've had a very real reason to get nostalgic about middle school lately,
right?
And that's because one of my most beloved and most treasured teachers passed away a couple days ago.
Sorry.
So I kind of want to talk a little bit about this time and like who this person was and what this was about, because I realize I've not talked about it on the show, even though this is literally all of my middle school memories. So my middle school was known
right
for our debate team. Like we didn't have it wasn't like the football team who were state champs, not the baseball, fuck that. We had sports, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Our debate team, the Lanier Middle School debate team, were the undefeated national middle school debate champions year after year after year after year.
Hell yeah.
We were undefeated at every tournament we went to.
Master debaters.
And they said that at school.
Of course.
I had
the classic joke.
The teachers I loved the most would call us master debaters.
Yeah.
And funny. That's how we knew they were fucking cool.
Yeah.
And this debate team and this debate class was held by Mr. Jim Henley. Mr. Henley was 5'2". He was bald. There was an article written about him in 2006 that kind of described him, his personality and his looks like a bulldog. And I kind of see that a little bit. He was our middle school height.
Yeah.
So he was amongst us all.
Right.
But in that same article that described him like a bulldog, he also described Mr. Henley as Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society. Oh. And that's exactly the teacher he was. He was wasn't
Captain,
about
my captain.
Exactly. He wasn't about grades and curriculum and structure. It was all about truly building confidence, enriching students, introducing young people to politics and current issues.
What teaching is about, unlike the opposite of that PE teacher.
Right, yeah. Exactly. He encouraged us to speak up about well, how do you feel about this topic? And what do you think? This has been in the news, so how are we thinking? What's that thought? Here's an article from the Washington Post I want you to read. He was very much
not telling you what to think, but how to think.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect way to put it. He was, maybe strict but fair. One of those teachers were
you respected it.
He put the fear in God in me a couple times.
Yeah.
Seriously, the talking tos that I received from him, I'll never forget those talking tos. He had, his classroom was we kind of ancillary buildings. I think in the South, this is more common, where you just have
the trailers.
The T buildings, that's what we called them. And
they were trailers. Yeah.
They were trailers. And so sometimes when a student was really riled up, is full of energy, Mr. Henley would be just take a lap. Go and take a lap. And so they would have to run around the T buildings as the rest of the lesson was going on. They were there were, no food or drink class, right? So sometimes there was this kid, Marcel, he was eating a lollipop one day, and Mr. Henley, mid talking about something, he ripped the lollipop out of this kid's mouth and threw it out the door and kept talking. And it was funny. It wasn't aggressive. It was a funny thing.
Yeah.
And then Marcel had 2 of the same lollipops. So we just put the other one in. And midway through talking, Mr. Henley looks I thought I threw that one out already. And Marcel was I had another one. He was are you kidding me? And Marcel, without instruction, stood up, went to the door, threw the lollipop outside with the other one, and sat back down.
Amazing.
We're talking about how middle schoolers can be organized when they need to be.
Right.
We knew to for as much as we wanted to fuck off and be dickheads in that class, we knew when it was time to toe the line. But there was a story. So, as he's passed and we're kind of sharing these stories and he had pieces written about him. There was one thing that came to mind that I had forgotten about, but I remembered, and I wanted to share the story because it's just like the fucking coolest
yeah.
thing I've ever heard in my life. I wasn't even there for it, but it's such a legendary story. So because we were undefeated, every time we went to a debate tournament, there was always drama. Because, and here's the thing about us. Mr. Henley made us wear business suits to these debate tournaments.
Yeah, I thought,
we would carry briefs with articles for our like extemporaneous speaking. And there's another debate where you have to like, in 90 minutes, create an argument.
Right.
So this is pre-smartphone. This is laptops, pre-Wi-Fi, really. So we would have to bring in boxes.
Just like research.
Like literally briefs. Like we walked in with briefs. And that must have been such a fucking sight. Like this squad of like
little business people.
No, literally, it was like Jim Henley Esquire, and we're all his little junior associates. Keep in mind, he's like the same height as us.
Right.
And we're walking in with like full business attire, briefcase.
I imagine a flying V kind of situation.
No, literally. And my mom pointed out, she was like, that must be the most intimidating thing for other schools to see in the world, that everyone is showing up like third act Elle Woods. Like fully prepared. And you know, the thing was like the iPod, like you have one in and the other friend has the other earpod. Yeah. Again, this is what I'm saying. Like Gen Z will never know that. They'll never know that.
They can't do that with AirPods. They don't know that intimacy.
Yeah. So the drama was that like really the only way to beat one of us was to disqualify one of us. So like parent chaperones from other schools, teachers from other schools, they would go to judge and be like, well, the Lanier Middle School team, they were talking like 5 minutes in the classroom before, because it's normally hosted in
they're just trying to call you out for
literally
like
any reason whatsoever, like
BS infractions.
They had their cell phone on their desk the entire time during the tournament. Like, well, it's like, well, did the cell phone go off? Were they using it? Like, well, no, but that's unprofessional. Like, they would literally try to knock us. And so, one year I wasn't there for this, but again, iconic, legendary story. Nationals was hosted in San Antonio. Easy for us. Like, that was fucking always good when Nationals is in your own state.
Home court,
Exactly. So at the end, if you've never done like speech, debate, forensics, whatever you want to call it, basically when they post who's moving on to the next round, they also post what's called your ballot. And that's basically where the judge marks the score. It's dance 10, looks 3. You get your feedback and, you know, you advance whatever. So our team was advancing because kind of like Tom Brady, like, Tom Brady fucking sucks, but he did win the Super Bowl. And you can't deny that he's won a lot of Super Bowl. You know,
he's like, very good at football, yes.
But we don't suck like Tom Brady sucked. But it was one of those circumstances where like we had to keep winning because genuinely we were good.
Right.
But the ballots we were receiving were like really harsh.
Yeah.
Like really nitpicky, like your tie, like you weren't tucked in. There was one that was like you kept referring to President Bush as just Bush. You need to have a proper title. And keep in mind, these are kids who are like 11, 12, 13 years old.
Right.
And they're getting these really harsh critiques. And so some of the students were like, dude, we're really getting like dogged on here. And so some of the students were like smart and like swipe the ballots from other schools to see what their feedback was. And of course, their feedback was like, you did such an amazing job speaking and you maintained eye contact. Thank you so much. Yeah. You were great. So they went to Mr. Henley with this, and he was like, and I've heard him give the speech 1,000 fucking times, where he basically would have to go student to student, and he would say, look, they're really on our case because everybody wants to beat the undefeated team. Don't let this get under your skin. Don't internalize these comments. Because knowing my team, I know tears were shed. I know people, we cared a lot. Like, we wanted to win. We wanted to do well. We wanted to do right by Mr. Henley. And like these mean comments and these like really hypercritical comments.
Right.
Obviously. And again, like I saw it happen all the time at our tournaments. It gets under your skin. And, you know, so anyway, he would just basically go around to students and sometimes on an individual basis have to say like, look, don't let this.
Chill out. Yeah.
Don't fuck this. Yeah. You keep doing what you're doing. You're great. You've worked hard. I've seen you work hard. You've got this. Just power forward. So we end up winning nationals. No fucking shit. Because we're the goddamn best fucking debate team in the fucking world. But it was a victory that was like, we won, but like everyone is giving us the eye. Right. The judges really didn't say anything super nice. Yeah. It was just kind of a weird win. Yeah. So they were all loading up buses in the parking lots. And Mr. Henley had everyone kind of gather around. Right. And he gave this speech that basically was like, you won in the noble way. You won because you were undeniable. Look at how badly they try to dog you and try to pick at you and critique you and shit. And you persevered through all of that. And he pulled out a brown bag And he said, in this brown bag are all of the ballots from the final round, the round that we won.
Yeah.
And he threw the bag on the ground and he lit it on fire.
Hell yeah.
And everyone's saying, we are the champions, as their fucking bullshit ballots burned in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That was Mr. Henley.
That's amazing.
That's our champion.
Yeah.
I literally would be nowhere near the person I am today were it not for him.
That's amazing.
And I just want to take this time to recognize that, for as shitty as adolescence is and as shitty as this time is, when you have, especially like an adult who you respect and you admire, actually like really
be in
give
your corner.
Fuck
yeah.
And be... Like I said, he was our champion. He protected us and stood up for us at these tournaments.
Yeah, it feels good. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that middle school and adolescence can be such a shitty time.
Yeah.
And to have someone, especially a teacher and adult, someone you respect that has your back, and those little moments of just like fun celebrating with an adult and feeling validated as a kid means so much. And when you have a teacher who like that's what they do.
Yeah.
It's so great and special. So
and
sounds like
he like went like for alumni, like he went to a lot of high school graduations, he went to college graduations, he had open houses with old debaters.
I can only hope like everyone had at least one of those teachers
Jesus,
in their
and if
school.
you didn't, my God, how did you do it? Like, that's incredible.
It's tough, but those teachers make it worthwhile, and they're great teachers, and they're heroes, and they should be celebrated. So
so cheers to Jim Henley. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
I had a great time like literally I was saying to someone that like my favorite memories from middle school was in debate. So cheers. Yeah. May we all be that person maybe one day to a young person, because God knows the kids need help.
Hell yeah. So that's our episode of Rough Stuff. Thanks to everyone who wrote in. We love your stories. And thanks for sharing. Hopefully you feel better now that they're out there and we can all laugh at you and with you.
Yes.
A
lot of healing, I think, happened.
A lot of healing happens today. But we also have some very exciting news that we want to tease a little bit at the end of this over an hour-long episode.
Boy, howdy. But if you made it this far, you're in for a treat.
Sarah, do you want to do the honors?
Well, the BS Entertainment Division of Small Beans, who have brought you this show, Rough Stuff, and The Cast and the Curious, now brings you a third podcast. Oh, we're doing another one. It's you want to do that again, like DJ Khaled? Nope. Well, this podcast, it's called Shooting Threes.
Sarah thought of the name just for me, and
now that I'm a huge basketball fan,
yes, and we will be, Sarah and I, good friends. You know us, you love us, I hope.
Are you introducing who we are an hour into our show?
Yes.
In case you forgot,
it's me. It's the same voices, but it will be a different show. It's called Shooting Threes, as Sarah said, and we will be going through famous movie trilogies.
Pure trilogies. 1, 2, and 3. End of list. Maybe. And kind of same format as Cast and the Curious. They'll come out one movie at a time, and then we'll take a little break and move on to the next trilogy. And we're gonna be watching more movies together, buddy. We're gonna be real chick flicks.
Real chick flicks?
Real flick chicks.
I
don't know. I'm workshopping
we'll figure it out. But it's called Shooting Threes. Sarah sent me
I'm writing a theme song. I'm working on that right now. I'm in the studio late night, every night.
Yeah. So look at that. Look for that coming on your Small Beans feed.
It's gonna be very exciting. Yeah. And tell your friends to listen to Cast of Curious, baby. Now that everyone's watched that F9 trailer and they're fucking horny as fuck for Dominic Toretto and his crew.
And the fam.
Put them on to our show.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. We hope you guys are too. You can tweet at us some trilogies that you want us to watch.
Oh yes, we've got a little bit of a list ourselves, but always looking for other suggestions. Don't say Star Wars. Are you fucking kidding me? We fucking know.
Yeah.
That's
going to be an episode.
We already fucking know.
For sure. And I'm already exasperated, but
I'm not.
She's glowing. But yeah, look out for that. We're super excited, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
Yes, one of them.
One of them. Bye, guys.
Bye.